Auburn Blitz is now on the air, your daily look into what's happening in Auburn athletics. With your host, Andy Graham, Brett Pritchard, Randy Lee, War Eagle.
Hello, everybody, and good Tuesday to you, and welcome into the Auburn Blitz, brought to you by Russell Do It Center and Building Supply Stores, J.A. Smith Construction and Excavation in Central Alabama Community College. Brett Pritchard and Jim Hardy here with you on this Tuesday. Good to see you, Jim.
Good to see you, man.
Oh, man, you know, rocking and rolling right along, and a lot to talk about today. And, you know, with you not being on every day or really every week, I'm going to get your take on several things today on what you think as far as how spring went, the baseball program, a lot of different things that we've talked about ad nauseum, but I'd like to get your thoughts on it because I know you're really entrenched. You have a little bit of inside. You're at practice some. You're around the baseball program as well. So I want to get your thoughts on that. We'll talk about the transfer portal and some of the players that are already getting in the portal, some players that Auburn is looking at from other schools that are in the portal or expecting to talk to as that thing goes on. We'll look at what Auburn expects to do in the portal. What positions is Auburn going to target? Where are their needs? There was a good breakdown on 24/7. Our good friends Jason Caldwell and Christian Clemente, they do a great job. We feel like we're kind of intertwined with them, and they do a really, really good job. So they had some interesting takes on how many particular players they think at each position, you know, Auburn might be looking at. I thought we'd break down our offensive coaching you know, staff, because again, we've talked about it last year. I mean, there's just brand new faces everywhere on the defense and the offense, but we'll talk necessarily more about the offense today. Again, Hugh Freeze made those choices last year, Jim, who he picked, but they didn't work out. You know, Philip Montgomery, Ron Roberts, those guys, you know, you have to kind of flip the script now. I know it kind of was a hurried deal, but ultimately he was responsible, got rid of most of those guys, you know, and so you got a whole new staff really in year number two. And so, you know, got to get to work, got to start making something happen, got to get some consistency.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, and you guys have talked about it before. It's the thing that, like, for me, the Montgomery situation. When you're a play caller at heart like Hugh is, it's hard to give somebody your baby and let them do it.
Right.
And then it was at times when you noticed when Hugh stepped in and made calls in critical times, we ended up in the right spots.
Right.
And maybe it's like the old saying goes, nobody runs your business like you do.
And no doubt. You know, with that being said, though, as the head coach, you got to make a decision.
Right.
You know, when you hire a guy to run a position, to run a certain segment of your team, then you can't second guess them. You can't look like you've bitten off you know, a persimmon, bitten into a persimmon every time they may have made a call that you didn't necessarily agree with. But I'm not placing blame whatsoever. I'm just saying that, you know, now you got an entire, basically a clean slate, and what we're hearing is that the whole mood, the whole theme around the players and the coaches and interaction is basically 180 degrees.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've been there and seen it with my own eyes. There's a lot more leadership there. There's a lot more continuity where these guys are kind of getting along, being buddies together. It's a different locker room.
Yeah. I guess we'll start. I get tired of this. We're on a text thread. I was earlier today with several people, and hearing some rumors of some guys that are possibly going to go in the portal. But we've already seen one today, Brenton Williams from Opelika. He's you know, hometown kid, local kid, played edge rusher. Only 2 games this past season that he played in. But you know, again, this is what you deal with from a depth situation. From you know, how many people do you need? Well, sometimes you don't know. You feel like you're really good in a position, you got some depth, and then a couple of guys maybe at that position decide they want to leave. Now you feel like you're back to square one again. What you thought was a good depth position for you now isn't. And it's just nobody's immune to this. Every team out there has to deal with it, no matter if you won the national championship last year, like Michigan, man, their roster, I mean, with Jim Harbaugh leaving, you can just expect there's going to be a mass exodus of guys looking around. We've already seen Phoenix City kid get in the portal that Auburn was very interested in when he came out, how he's looking to go somewhere else. This is what you deal with, Jim. I mean, I'm not saying anybody feels sorry for coaches that make multi-millions of dollars, but they earn their money more now than they ever have before.
Right. Well, and I think that's kind of what you run into, that first topic we started on about Hugh and him making decisions.
Right.
You saw a lot of that happen in that Maryland game last year. He spent all of his time on recruiting and even said that. And he hired a guy, Montgomery and those other people, those coaches, to go
Right.
get that job done, and it showed its face. The same thing with what you're talking about with this portal deal. Is just like this kid here, this Williams, if I'm not mistaken, he's like a 3-star kid when he came out.
Yeah.
Well, he's looking at the depth chart, and he goes, man, I'm 4th or 5th in line to actually
Right.
get on the field.
Right.
I'm going to go take my money and get something somewhere else.
Sure.
You know, if he could get 0 playing time at Auburn and $10,000, and he can go down the road and get $50,000, I'm going to go play.
Yeah, well, I mean, nobody's blaming kids for taking opportunities. That you know, we've said that till we're blue in the face on here. I just think there's got to be some type of regulation on, you know, how many times you can transfer. I know there's different rules. I don't think anybody really knows what the rules are. That's the problem.
Is the rule still in place that you can't transfer within the SEC, or is that thrown out the window too? It used to be that way before NIL, but I don't know.
I'm not sure. I mean, again, the dadgum teams have changed conferences so much.
Right.
I don't even know who's in what conference anymore. You have to almost check that. You got Pac-12 teams in the ACC now because the Pac-12 doesn't exist.
Right.
So, I mean, it's just wild. I don't know. So we can probably confirm that here in a little bit. But a former Auburn player, Tavares Dawson, went to Colorado and played last year for Prime, had 14 catches, 124 yards, now in the portal. So he'll be looking for his third school. Rumor was that he was dismissed from the team in February for personal reasons or whatever. But regardless, he's back in the portal. This thing becomes kind of synonymous with certain players. You see them from one year to the next.
Well, that's the next thing I was going to ask, and I don't know that I've looked it up either, is how many times can they get in there? Wasn't there like 2 at one point? Because you can't do it every year you're in college. You're just going to go transfer to a different place.
I mean, that's what we're seeing now. I mean, SEC rule, just got a text, SEC rule is supposed to still be in place again.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Well, but again, I mean, it doesn't really matter in the scheme of things a lot. It doesn't necessarily mean that, you're at an SEC school that's where you want to be or remain is in the SEC. You can go wherever.
Right.
So you can hop around. We've seen guys hop 3 and 4 places.
Right.
And end up wherever. So Tavares Dawson, was again another one of these guys that will be in his third team in his third year.
Now, isn't I think one name's coming to mind now, Willis, that came from Mississippi State to us, right?
Right.
So he's come across the conference to do that, transfer.
So, I mean, I don't know if you can get waivers or kind of what happens on that. Again, I think it's so vague right now that even us that talk about this on a daily basis, we have to check ourselves because things change.
Yeah, there's just no guardrails.
Right. When you look at it from this standpoint, and we'll carry this over into the next segment. What are Auburn's needs in the portal after looking at spring? And I'll get your take on that, Jim, on the other side as well. Is what do you think from what you were able to see up close and personal and talk with some guys? What are the highlights for you? And I guess I'll go ahead and start here now, and then we'll carry it over to the next segment. What did you like? What did you see that you liked? And I know we'll go to the phone lines here too. What did you see that you liked and what did you dislike? Let's go to the phone lines first, and then we'll come back and I'll get your take on that. Caller, go ahead.
Hey, Brad, it's Luke. I just wanted to clear up the transfer portal thing a little bit. You cannot transfer from, say, Mississippi State to Auburn or Auburn to Alabama or Alabama to LSU within conference, now and be eligible for next year.
Right.
Can't do that. But you can transfer, before this last portal, before this last one closed, you could have transferred within the conference. So there isn't, an annual wait one-time thing. It's just you have to be in the right portal.
So it's the first portal. It's the first portal window. You can transfer in conference, but the second portal window you cannot.
Right, and that makes a lot of sense to me because you should not be able to go through a spring practice at an SEC rival and then the very next day when it's done go to your rival. It just shouldn't happen. And so I think that's about as fair as you can get with that. And I would also like to see it expanded to you can't go to a team that's on your schedule for the next year, but that'll never happen. So I've heard one of y'all say something about the offensive lineman that went from Mississippi State to Auburn, but he went in the last window, not in this window.
He was in that first window. Right. Well, good info there. Again, I think still there's a lot of ambiguity in all this stuff, and you got so many guys hopping around so often. It's hard to keep up with it, frankly. I mean, it's a full-time dadgum job keeping up with where everybody ends up. And, again, this is the college football world we live in now.
Well, it's so bad for the sport in the sense that, there'll be some people saying, well, yeah, it's just players having power, and people don't like that. I don't think that's true at all. I'm fine with players having some power. And I agree that the establishment, the NCAA and the schools themselves maybe had too much power for a little bit. That's fine. But it doesn't mean we need a complete overcorrection, which is what we have, because it's ruining the sport in a different kind of way. Right now you can transfer as many times you want to. There's no limit on it. It's just very scary, and there's no real safeguard as to who you have to recruit, and it's going to drive out the good coaches. We've already seen the best coach of all time. It didn't drive him out like single-handedly, but it didn't help. And Nick Saban really should have had 4 or 5 more years of coaching, and he was a fantastic coach. And instead he was like, I just don't know how much more I want to do with this. And I think we're seeing other coaches take jobs in the NFL where things are a little bit more rigid, the rules are more well-defined, and you can have an off day or an off week or an off month. And in college football, or basketball for that matter, really probably in any sport, we just don't talk about the other ones as much. But you think about in basketball how one day the guy that you were counting on to be here next year could be gone, and then you steal somebody else's. That's
exactly
going to be counted on at that school. So
total up.
It's really a sticky wicket.
Hey, Luke, thanks for the call, brother. Me and you'll catch up tonight on Sports Blitz. Hey, thank you so much, man. Up against the break. Stay tuned. More to come right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area a team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
Heritage South Credit Union in Alexander City is your community credit union, and they have been for over 80 years. Heritage South Credit Union proudly serves Tallapoosa, Coosa, Lee, Chambers, Randolph, and Chilton counties. From checking to business accounts, to share savings to club accounts, to their kids club and investments. Visit them online at myhscu.com. Heritage South Credit Union, your community credit union for 80 years. Federally insured by NCUA.
When you need an automotive hero, you got to call S&S Discount Tire Pros. With locations in Alexander City and Dayville, we are here to serve you today. From quick services like oil changes and tire rotations to in-depth automotive repairs such as suspensions, brakes, and tune-ups, S&S can take care of all your tire needs. You just have to focus on what's important and love the drive. Call S&S Discount Tire Pros today. We are automotive heroes, and we are here to serve you.
WOTM is the television provider for all Alabama High School Athletic Association championship events and special programs. WOTM is your home for the Super 7 football, state finals basketball, baseball and softball state championships, the AHSAA Weekly Show, and WOTM also produced the first ever football playoff show, Super 7 preview show, and reclassification reveal show. Your exclusive home for all things AHSAA is WOTM. Contact your local cable provider to request WOTM to your channel lineup.
Whether it's Lake Martin, Lay Lake, or Logan Martin, boaters from all over the state of Alabama come to Alex City Marine, just off Highway 280 in Alexander City, Alabama, because it's worth the drive. With the best deals on unbeatable Suzuki outboards, Manitou and Landau Tritoons, and a great pre-owned inventory while they last. Alex City Marine is the pros the locals know. And no matter where you're from, when you're here, you're local to us. Alex City Marine, just off Highway 280 in Alexander City, Alabama. AlexCityMarine.com.
Russell Do-It Center and building supply stores have the tools and materials to get the job done right, whether you're a professional contractor or just a weekend do-it-yourselfer. With everyday customer conveniences like a drive-through lumberyard, price match promise, and our best rewards program, each of our 9 locations offer top brands and building materials like lumber, hardware, tools, paint, lawn and garden, and much more. Visit today and see what Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply can help you build tomorrow.
Let's get serious. Let's get Arctic Air serious. You want your car and truck to live longer, don't you? Well, it's about maintenance. Same thing with Arctic Air. You see the number at the bottom of the screen? Call them right now. Let me tell you something. You want to be comfortable? We all want to be comfortable.
Truckloads of fresh inventory are rolling into Glenn Smith GMC in Opelika, like this powerful all-new GMC Sierra 1500 SLT. Now available with up to $13,000 off. Purchase the roomy GMC Terrain SLT, discounted up to $97.50 off. And the GMC Acadia AT4 all-wheel drive, discounted up to $8,000 off. Enjoy no payments till the end of summer at Glenn Smith GMC. Over 350 new and used vehicles on the lot or on the way.
Get ready to smile.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Auburn Blitz, brought to you by Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply Stores, J.A. Smith Construction and Excavation in Central Alabama Community College. Brent and Jim here with you for 45 more minutes. We'll get to your comments coming in. Our number is 256-234-6221, the Eric McKinley Mortgage Pro Hotline, if you'd like to give us a shout there. You know, Jim, we always want to be successful now, and sometimes it takes a little bit, but you know, the last 4 years for Auburn have been a little unprecedented. You know, you look at the results in 2020, 6-5, and then you've put together 3 losing seasons. 21, you were 6-7, 5-7 in 22, and last year 6-7. And you know, we heard Coach Freese talk about even he didn't have high expectations for last year's team, but after the season, in the postseason press conference, he even said, you know, this team should have even done better than we did. And we didn't do some things coaching-wise. We didn't do some things on the field that we needed to do. You know, we talked about the Iron Bowl last year and the New Mexico State game. You know, the New Mexico State game, you just come out and you can't play any worse than Auburn played in that game. And you come out, save the last 2 minutes of the Iron Bowl, and I don't know that you could play much better. I mean, you had a Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde kind of scenario there for Auburn's football team last year. But that, there again, leads to the inconsistency, the not putting the same product, not going out there knowing what you're going to get from 1 week to the next can make you go crazy, and showed you that Auburn had potential to be as good as anybody, but they also could play down and get beat by anybody. So that's what Hugh Freeze is tasked with now. He's tasked with, okay, where's this team going to go? And again, in this world, it seems like it's tougher and tougher every single year to put a consistent product on the field, even the top-tier teams. You're battling a lot of exterior things that aren't even inside your program that you can't control a lot of times. So you got to control the things you can control. You got to shore those up, and it starts with being consistent. You were you were able to go to practice some. We'll kind of skip around here in this segment, but what is it that you saw out of spring that you like, Jim, that you saw that, hey, look, this thing's going in the right direction? I kind of got my idea of what you might say, but I'm going to kick it over to you and let you tell everybody.
I mean, my personal first thing that stands out for me is offensive line.
That's where I was going.
That is a tremendous upgrade from last year. If you just go across the board and look at the pieces that are there now, as long as they're healthy, now we're going to need some quality backups. I mean,
it seems like we've got some quality backups now.
You go. Yep. I think
better than we've had.
I think Tank's quality for Lou up there at center.
Right.
Then, but where your pieces are going to be is those tackle spots. I don't think we got a real lot of quality behind that. I think you got a young. Trying to think of that kid. He's 18 years old, a freshman we got coming in, that he could possibly play both of those tackles back and forth.
Right.
But the two tackles, like
talking about the kid from California.
Yes. Yeah. You got Miller over there on the right.
Right.
Too tall. He's going to be fine. You got the kid we were just talking about over there on the left from Mississippi State, Willis.
Right. Yep.
He's got all the frame in the world to go in there and play it. He's what I've heard and what I watched down there. They want him to lose a little bit of the belly fat and get a little bit more of the muscle strength. But across the board, I've heard we've got 5 dogs up there that'll actually push people now and not get pushed.
Right.
And that makes a big difference in what Hugh's wanting to do.
Well, in this league, pretty much in any league and in college football, to be successful, you got to win the lines of scrimmage.
Oh, absolutely.
And, offensive line's been a problem for Auburn for a while. We've seen, windows of time that we've been better than others, but a consistent offensive line year in and year out that's going to be able to give your offense a chance to move the ball. We've been inconsistent on third downs, being able to sustain drives, whether you get points or not out of a drive. I talked to a coach that's, highly respected in this state from a high school standpoint, and he told me years ago, he said, a successful drive doesn't always end in points.
No.
Being able to control and flip field position and be able to do the things that you got to do to keep the ball out of the other team's hands can be warranted as a successful drive. You don't always have to get points. It's more than that. But Auburn, a lot of times, put themselves in bad situations, put the defense in bad situations by being backed up, Jim, going 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. And eventually, that wall is going to break and teams are going to end up getting points. The Texas A&M game last year was proof of that. Just couldn't move the dadgum ball. Right. Texas A&M was struggling offensively, but they had the field position on us, and eventually the wall broke, and they were able to break through and score. And it just seemed like it was a little bit too much to overcome. But that's one of the biggest things, and I thought that's probably what you would say is an improved offensive line. And if I had one position to pick to improve, that's the one I would want improved.
Oh, yeah. I mean, quality on that offensive line, as well as I watched the tight ends. It looks like Deal and Fair are both going to be great guys to go with that piece. So I have no questions about our backs. I think you're going to see some 12 personnel, they call it, with 2 tight ends up there.
Right.
I think we're going to be able to run the ball on people fine. I think it's the piece that everybody in this country is talking about is the quarterback. Can he, like you said earlier, can he make that step to where he's not just a guy that showed up in July? Is he now going to show us the guy he was at Michigan State?
Well, again, I'll say this from yesterday, and I'll get to your comments when we come back. Look, in all fairness to Peyton Thorne last year, the kid came in July.
Right.
I don't really know what your expectations, all of us, including myself, really were. You're trying to learn a new offense. You're trying to get acclimated. It's just a lot to digest, especially when you're going up against the opponents you have to go up against week in and week out in this league. Mm-hmm. So, again, hopefully – having a year under his belt, him being here, you heard Jason Caldwell say it last week on this show, he just seems more calm, more in control, and hopefully that'll translate to performance on the field this fall. Up against another break. Stay tuned. More to come right after this.
This is Kathy Holmes with Pepper Tree Steaks and Wine. Jeff Verner and I opened in East Montgomery 25 years ago and have become the premier butcher shop, wine retailer, and caterer in the River region. We are excited to invite you to our newest location at 2459 East Glen Avenue in Auburn, Opelika. We want to become your one-stop shop for the freshest cuts of meat in town, grab-and-go casseroles, gift items, and the best wine selection in the area. Think of us when catering your next event. Check us out online at steaksandwine.com for daily lunch specials and details on upcoming wine tastings and fun events.
Lake Martin Garage, located on Highway 280 in Jackson's Gap, has been serving our area since 1993. From routine maintenance such as oil changes, tune-ups, and rotating and balancing your tires, to transmission and engine repair, our trained and certified mechanics will get you back on the road better than before. Need a tow? With a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week towing service, Lake Martin Garage has local and long-range pickup. Trust your vehicle needs to the professionals at Lake Martin Garage. Call 256-825-6139, or better yet, stop in and see them today. Lake Martin Garage.
What's the verdict?
Can't fix your heat pump. Need a new one.
Uh-oh. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking Daikin.
Call on Kevin Kill in Sunshine Heating and Air at 256-825-4849, Central Alabama's premier Daikin dealer.
So what's he thinking?
Oh, he's thinking Daikin.
Daikin, one of the top selling in the world.
Now I'm thinking Daikin.
Daikin. Comfort for life.
Passion, the obsession that burns within. Determination, the burning desire to make it. Drive, the motivation to be the absolute best. Skills, the tools to perform at the highest level. Excellence, the feeling of achievement. At Central Alabama Community College, you can release your passion, show your determination, display your drive, and showcase your skills to achieve excellence. Central Alabama Community College, central to you, central to your success.
There's only one option for top-of-the-line aftermarket upgrades on your vehicle, and that's Frontline Outfitters. We offer quality parts, lift kits, custom wheels and tires, bed covers, step bars, and toolboxes that are installed by trained and skilled professionals, to custom powder coating with hundreds of colors and finishes, to the highest quality film for window tinting using state-of-the-art film cutting technology. Call Frontline Outfitters at 256-409-8100. Don't be in the back of the line. Put your vehicle at the front with Frontline Outfitters. Grain and Leaf, located at 6068 Highway 63 South, is Lake Martin's premier boutique-style bottle shop with a unique array of sophistication for everyone. Appropriately named for its exclusive selection of top spirits, wine, and craft beer, Grain and Leaf also has a number of fine cigars for you to choose from. They also carry the full line of Hornsby Farms assorted jellies and pottery. Open 10 to 7 Monday through Saturday and noon to 5 on Sundays, Grain and Leaf is your premier shop in the Lake Martin area.
Lake Martin Mobile Detailing is the #1 auto and boat detailing company in Central Alabama. Don't trust your boat or vehicle to just anybody. Hire the professionals. Top-of-the-line ceramic coating, detailing, gel coat restoration, and paint correction gives you the options to take care of your vehicle the right way. Located at 702 McCarty Road in Dayville, Lake Martin Mobile Detailing will have you riding in style. Call them today at 256-794-2328 or Superior Automotive and Boat Detailing.
J.A. Smith Construction is your trusted choice for construction site clearing and grading for new home construction, underground utilities and site work, concrete paving, storm drain installation, fish ponds, and slough dredging. No job is too big or too small. Call Alexander at J.A. Smith Construction at 256-896-1400 or email asmith@jasmithconstruct.com. J.A. Smith Construction, your trusted choice for construction.
Registration for the 41st Alabama State Games is now open at allagames.com. Join us as we return to Birmingham for an exciting 3 days of Olympic-styled action, June 7th through 9th. There are 24 sports offered and $40,000 in scholarships up for grabs. The Alabama State Games brings a mix of individual and team sports for all ages and abilities, so everyone can go for the gold. Don't let this opportunity pass you by. Registration and event info can be found at allagames.com. Welcome back, everyone, to the Auburn Blitz. Halfway through our program here, again brought to you by Russell Do It Center and Building Supply Stores, J.A. Smith Construction and Excavation in Central Alabama Community College.
Got to throw a plug in there. J.A. Smith just done some pond work for us out there at all for the special needs kids, and he does a great job.
He does outstanding. I mean, we've got
great corporate partners here on the program, Jim. All three of them are just wonderful. Add in some other of our sponsors out there. And in the third segment, we always do Pepper Tree Steaks and Wine daily special. And today's Tuesday. That means fried or grilled chicken or pork chop for you with your choice of 2 sides, which is homemade mac and cheese, sauteed green beans, steamed broccoli, wild rice, roasted sweet potato, sauteed spinach, twice baked potato. The list goes on and on. So
I'm ready to eat.
I mean, you ain't no doubt. Hey, well, on the 26th,
okay,
they're coming up here and they're bringing us food, all of our groups.
Oh, my goodness.
Put that on your calendar.
All right.
On Friday the 26th, and we're looking forward to that for sure. But you're right. All of our sponsors appreciate all of what they do and allowing us to bring you this program each and every week. Jim, we're going to get to some comments here in just a minute.
Okay.
But looking at this depth chart now, again, this thing can change. This is spring. This is coming out of spring. One of the kids you were talking about, DeAndre Carter, may have something to say about getting in that mix on the offensive line. But as it stands right now, and the way this thing looks, and we'll start with the offense. Starting at left tackle, it looks like Percy Lewis, the transfer from Mississippi State. You know, Auburn wanted to get in that first portal window and get a guy, and they were able to get Percy Lewis from Mississippi State, who looks the part and is very seasoned. And you got Dylan Wade coming back, who I think really improved last year, and then Connor Lew, who was an all-SEC freshman right there, who I think could be the next great offensive lineman for Auburn over the next several years. If the portal don't bite us, I think Connor Lew wants to be here. I think he was solicited by several out there after the year, but he comes back and he'll anchor the offensive line. Then you got Jeremiah Wright at right guard, who has been Mr. Versatile since he's been at Auburn. He's played defensive line, he's played offensive line, back and forth, and I think he's found his home there. And you talked about Xavier Miller at right tackle, the junior college transfer, just a big man over there at right tackle. So when you look at it from a standpoint of the starters, looks like a pretty good starting five up front. Now, you were talking about some depth.
Right.
Here's what the depth looks like on the offensive line. You got Tyler Johnson at left tackle, Jaden Muskrat, who was the transfer coming in, will back up Dylan Wade. As of right now, Tate Johnson, as you mentioned, backing up Connor Lew, E.J. Harris at right guard, and Seth Wilfred at right tackle. So to hear the analysis from some other guys that we talked to, and then hearing what you said, you know, we finally have some true depth. Whereas let's just say, if Dylan Wade were to go out, instead of moving everybody around and having to shift positions, you really have Jaden Muskrat that can come in there and fill that position. Correct. And you're not having to shift somebody from right tackle to left guard and then vice versa and all that kind of stuff. So having some true depth there, Jim, is huge.
Right. No, that's 100%, and it gives you some continuity that these guys know their role. They don't have to worry about
and they got to worry about learning multiple positions. Mm-hmm. You know, they can concentrate. That makes a big difference. Again, we know Peyton Thorne's a QB right now. Hank Brown is listed as the backup. Starting tailback, Jarquez Hunter, Jeremiah Cobb there as backup.
All right, now I proposed this question to you when we were talking in the break. If we take our coaching hats and put it on like Hugh Freeze right now and Peyton goes down, who do you have confidence in to be the backup?
I mean, right now it's got to be Hank Brown.
Okay.
I mean, again, you saw what he did in the spring game. Made a great throw to Cam Coleman. Now, Cam reached out for it. But, again, you don't have to be pinpoint precision when you got a guy like Cam Coleman. He's going to get the football. He's going to go get the football.
Right.
And we're about to talk about the wide receiver, so you're going to add some depth to this wide receiver core. I think has a chance. It'll be young, but has a chance to be very dynamic, and I think they'll get better as the year goes on. But right now, Hank Brown, for the performance we saw at the end of the Maryland game and in what we've heard in the spring, I just think Walker White's just not ready as a true freshman. Mm-hmm. And, again, it's no shot at Holden Gardner. It's just haven't seen anything from Holden Gardner since he's been there that just makes you want to go, oh, man, that guy's going to be the next guy.
Outside of one pro day that he threw a couple years ago, everybody in the country was like, oh, my God, who's this kid? Outside of wearing shorts, when you put on pads, he's been a different ball player.
Well, and again,
now and having eyes on all four of them, what you just said, Walker. There was a reason Hugh went and got Walker. He looks the part.
Well, Walker White's one of the best freshman quarterbacks in the country.
Right.
But you know, again, you don't want to have to throw a guy to the fire.
No.
If you don't have to.
Right.
You know, Bo Nix had to start as a freshman and was an all-SEC freshman and did a really good job his first year. But if you can let a guy learn and grow and get in a weight program and develop and learn an offense, and you get him in there when he's got some confidence rather than throwing him to the wolves, makes a big difference, man.
Yeah.
It makes a huge difference. We'll come back, talk about the wide receivers, and we will get to your comments here. There are a lot of them coming in right now. We will get to those when we return. Stay tuned. More to come on this edition of Auburn Blitz right after this.
.6% of nurses say they went into the profession because they wanted to help patients. No matter the reason you decided to become a nurse, you have all the tools needed to advance your degree at Jacksonville State University. Our Master's in Nursing program is now offered fully online and can be completed in less than 2 years. You can customize a flexible course schedule so you can receive your advanced education degree all while working on the front line. JSU Nursing, your opportunity to advance your career and serve your community.
At CNT Electric, our clients are our priority. For the safety and security of your family and home, our technicians are professionally trained, drug tested, background checked, and wear uniforms with name tags. We're proud to have served the Elk City, Dadeville, and Lake Martin areas for the past 10 years. Give us a call at 256-234-0007 for all your electrical service and repair needs, or visit us on the web at www.cntelectricllc.com and spell out the word "and."
Zaxby's has been perfecting chicken fingers for 30 years. And now we're going to the sea. Shrimp butterflied and fried to perfection. And a perfect blend of Zax sauce and cocktail sauce called Zax Tail Sauce. The perfect southern fried shrimp meal. Woo, saucy! Zaxby's. Zaxby's has been perfecting chicken fingers for 30 years. And now we're going to the sea. Shrimp butterflied and fried to perfection. And a perfect blend of Zax sauce and cocktail sauce called Zax Tail Sauce. The perfect southern fried shrimp meal. Woo, saucy! Zaxby's.
WOTM is the television provider for all Alabama High School Athletic Association championship events and special programs. WOTM is your home for the Super 7 football, state finals basketball, baseball and softball state championships, the AHSAA weekly show, and WOTM also produced the first ever football playoff show, Super 7 preview show, and reclassification reveal show. Your exclusive home for all things AHSAA is WOTM. Contact your local cable provider to request WOTM to your channel lineup.
Russell Do-It Center and building supply stores have the tools and materials to get the job done right, whether you're a professional contractor or just a weekend do-it-yourselfer. With everyday customer conveniences like a drive-through lumberyard, price match promise, and our Best Rewards program, each of our 9 locations offer top brands and building materials like lumber, hardware, tools, paint, lawn and garden, and much more. Visit today and see what Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply can help you build tomorrow.
Bucks Island is your boating headquarters. Are you ready to hit the water and go boating this summer? Bucks Island has all kinds of boats, with one sure to fit exactly what you want. Fishing boats, sport boats, pontoon boats, and all with low monthly payments. Call 1-800-I'm-READY. Bucks Island Service Department experts are also here for you to keep your boat in top running condition. Call 1-800-I'm-READY. Don't be left standing on the bank this summer. Visit online at bucksisland.com and don't buy a boat till you get a Bucks quote.
Lake Martin Funeral Home and Cremation is coming soon to the corner of 280 and 49 North in Dadeville. This new 10,000 square foot facility is conveniently located to serve the residents of the Lake Martin area and its many communities. A branch of Frederick Dean Funeral Home and Crematory in Opelika, Lake Martin Funeral Home and Cremation looks forward to serving your families and your communities, as we have since 1900 at Frederick Dean. 256-750-0381.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Auburn Blitz. Here, a couple segments left in today's show. Let's get some of these comments. John said a lot of us would like to flush the portal, but unfortunately or fortunately, it's here to stay. It's not going away. It's part of the abnormal world. I agree with that. David said Texas Rangers, Detroit Tigers on MLB Network. Just started. Casey Mize is on the mound. Former Auburn Tiger, #1 draft pick there through 2 innings. He's already struck out 3. He's got a goose egg on the board there for the Tigers. So appreciate you passing that along, David. Yeah, I went over and looked at that and knew he was probably going to start today, and it's good to see him back. Has been battling some injuries there for Detroit. Former MLB manager Whitey Herzog died today at 92 years old. Yes, he did. Rhodes says, thank you for discussing the importance of an offensive line. This has been a problem for Auburn for years, no doubt about it. Kyle says, sure hope Auburn can go ahead and lock down the defensive end from Benjamin Russell. That's Caleb Spivey. He was a freshman this year, already receiving an offer from Auburn and Oregon. Visited Florida not too long ago. Kid's going to be very special. Already a tremendous player last year as a freshman, and he's just going to keep getting better and better. So looking forward to that. Yes, Kyle, hope Auburn can end up landing him down the road. He's going to be a tremendous player. Ty said, when is the deadline? When players have to decide if they're going to go pro or stay in college. I don't know exactly that deadline off the top of my head, Ty, but when you go in the portal, when you're in the portal, you can transfer as late as you want to, as long as you meet eligibility requirements, you can get enrolled. Yeah. So there's really –
get in there.
Again, it's going back to what you said. You don't know from one semester to the next what your team's going to look like. I mean, guys can get in and change. And what's the latest on Janai Broome? Haven't really even talked about basketball here today. All indications seem to think Janai Broome's going to be back at Auburn right now. Again, there's nothing set in stone. I think him and his family and the Auburn coaches are going to get together and discuss that. But I think Auburn understands how important Janai Broome is to the makeup of this team. He's one of the better players in the country that will be returning if he decides to return. I don't think he will transfer to another college. I think it's either stay at Auburn or go pro. And right now I think it is, leaning toward him coming back for another year. And we ain't even talked about this, Jim, and, you brought up Caitlin Clark, and we saw her salary. And, I'm not – again, it is what it is, but Caitlin Clark was the #1 overall pick in the WNBA draft last night, and her salary this coming up year is going to be $76,535 for the #1 draft pick.
She could take her college degree and go work and forget basketball and make more than that.
Right. and again, over 4 years, she's going to make $338,000, a little over $338,000. She gets a raise every year going up, but, man, several people tweeting out. Russell Wilson tweeted out, these ladies deserve so much more, praying for the day they do. And I agree with that, but the money's got to come from somewhere. And the WNBA right now, look, it got wall-to-wall coverage last night. That's the first time I can remember a WNBA draft even getting coverage, but it's Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark and women like that are that are drawing attention to the game, and the game has improved. But, again, you look at it from a standpoint of, Janai Broome not projected really to go. If he goes, it'll be late second round, and the money drops massively the later you go. And there's only really 2 rounds in the NBA draft. Right. It's not like the NFL draft or Major League Baseball. So you really got to be in that first round to get real money.
He's got to make a business decision.
That's right. Yeah. So, if the NIL deal – and I think at Iowa probably could have been matched easily to keep Caitlin Clark there. I think Ice Cube offered her, $5 million to come play in that league?
The On-3 league.
So when does that start to take players away from the WNBA if they can't start matching? And, again, I'm not scoffing at that money. I'm just saying for a professional athlete and for the #1 pick in the draft to get $76,000 is almost comical.
Right.
When you look at the male counterpart. And again, it's all about numbers. It's about viewers. It's about contracts. This has nothing to do with women versus men from that standpoint. It has to do with where's the funding coming from. Well, the WNBA franchises aren't worth the amount of money that the NBA franchise is worth right now. Doesn't mean that they can't grow and still, make up a lot of ground, but right now, that's what they're offering.
Oh, yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, and that's why this show, we spend so much time talking about football and basketball. That's the ones that's putting the butts in the seats.
That's right.
If you're selling tickets in the WNBA, then those salaries can go up.
Right.
They've got to market their product better.
Bingo. I think that's really what it boils down to. Okay, so let's get back to what we were talking about, Jim. In the depth chart, wide receiver, Cam Coleman obviously going to be on the field next year.
Yeah.
Very impressed with Camden Brown. He's been down there for a while. He's a junior. He looks the part. I really think he's made tremendous strides. Had some opportunities last year to make some big plays and just did not. Just didn't make any plays when he needed to. But maybe this is his year. Robert Lewis, I thought.
Very, very twitchy. Like he really can get in space and go.
Right, and that's huge in this league. And then backing them up, Coy Moore, Jay Fair, and Caleb Burton. I wouldn't be surprised. Jay Fair, was good at times last year, maybe our most consistent receiver, but with Perry Thompson and Malcolm Simmons and Bryce Kane and the likes of those guys coming on board, I really think. And then Sam Jackson also got him listed as third team. I think if you add those in, it's going to be a crowded wide receiver room. Some of these guys may decide to exit stage left. We're not going to dive into defense today. We're going to stick with offense, and I told you we were going to look at these position coaches on the offensive side. We really hadn't had time to go down and look at each position for Auburn. We'll get to that in the next segment. Let's talk about this AU coaching staff, Jim. Derek Nix coming over as the offensive coordinator. He's one of the top recruiters in the SEC. He spent the last 16 years at Ole Miss, the last 2 years as assistant head coach over there under Lane Kiffin. I think that was a massive addition to this staff.
Yeah, because this is a different perspective to get you to look at it. You're fixing to go into a fall that we've never had before. And the reason I say that is because now we've okayed it to have technology inside that headset. So your likes of your guys that have been together forever, your Knicks, your Hughes, even Lane Kiffin that you're talking about, they're about to play Nintendo because up until about 15 seconds before that's over, so from 40 to 15, Lane can look at your defense and go, hey, we thought we was going to go here. We're going over there.
Right.
And that changes the game. So now that he's got two people that are in there, like Derek has been with him forever, he knows what Hughes thinks.
Going to put a lot of more pressure on the defensive side to not show your hand until maybe under that 10-second mark, and then maybe do some disguise and line up, see if you can get offensive guys to shift, and then switch your defense at the last second.
The old, I've been impressed in the last few years in high school football. Mountain Brook does it. They shift into about 50 different formations. They'll get on one side, they'll let you line up, and then they'll go to another one.
No doubt about it. So Derek Nix and Ken Austin comes out of the analyst room onto the field. He was co-offensive coordinator at Liberty, kind of helped develop Malik Willis into who he was.
That one I can tell you just by watching what I saw with my own eyeballs. He's got a great temperament to him. Like the kids were just having fun with him, joking and kidding. And
based on your analysis there, definitely could help Peyton Thorne kind of get comfortable in what he's doing.
It's exactly what Jason has already told you because he's seen it 50 times and I've seen it 2 or 3 times. His attitude is different. Peyton's carrying himself different on the field. It's like he's having fun.
We come back, we'll get to the other 3 offensive staff coaches there for Auburn, then we'll go down this position by position on portal needs. Stay tuned. Final segment coming up right after this.
When drinking, take a sober ride home, not someone's life. Alabama has a code of the road, and knowing it helps you follow it. This is a message from your Alabama Department of Transportation.
J.A. Smith Construction is your trusted choice for construction site clearing and grading for new home construction, underground utilities and site work, concrete paving, storm drain installation, fish ponds, and slough dredging. No job is too big or too small. Call Alexander at J.A. Smith Construction at 256-896-1400 or email asmith@jasmithconstruct.com. J.A. Smith Construction, your trusted choice for construction.
Sign Source is your local vendor for commercial and residential sign manufacturing and installation. We offer all kinds of lighted and non-lighted signage, from retail signs, LED message centers, event banners, vehicle wraps, the whole spectrum. We also offer service and repair on existing signs, as well as retrofitting to LED or installation of outsourced signage. We have the knowledge necessary to fulfill all of your signage needs in the short or long term. Visit signsourcenow.com to get started.
EnviroCare is the standard in East Central Alabama for all your pest control and termite needs. EnviroCare exclusively offers Sentricon termite colony elimination system that is the industry's most effective termite control to protect your home year-round. The EnviroCare team's service is also the standard for our customers. From eliminating home pests to superior termite control, nobody cares like EnviroCare, serving Lake Martin and East Central Alabama.
Chick-fil-A is always the best option when you're on the go, but they are also great when it comes to planning your next event, from tailgating to birthday parties to weddings. Call Chick-fil-A Alexander City at 256-289-7955 for catering, or order on the Chick-fil-A app. Make sure to choose the Alexander City location and have your catering order ready to go. Nugget trays, mac and cheese trays, fruit trays, cookie trays, gallons of our famous lemonade or tea, and chilled grilled chicken sub sandwiches, and a lot more options. Make it Chick-fil-A Alexander City for your next event.
Folks around these parts have known for a long time that Walls Tire, just a mile past the bridge on Highway 280, is your #1 stop for automotive service and repair. At Walls Tire, you'll always find quality service at a fair price on everything from AC, name brand tires, big or small repairs, routine maintenance, towing, and more. When your car or truck needs to run right, there's one place in the area to go, conveniently located and easy to find. Walls Tire, just a mile past the bridge on Highway 280.
Passion, the obsession that burns within. Determination, the burning desire to make it. Drive, the motivation to be the absolute best. Skills, the tools to perform at the highest level. Excellence, the feeling of achievement. At Central Alabama Community College, you can release your passion, show your determination, display your drive, and showcase your skills to achieve excellence. Central Alabama Community College, central to you, central to your success.
Catch a ride, not a buzz.
Hey, can you come get me?
Being buzzed still counts. Alabama has a code of the road, and knowing it helps you follow it. This is a message from your Alabama Department of Transportation.
Welcome back, everyone. Final segment here on the Auburn Blitz here on this Tuesday, brought to you by Russell Do It Center and Building Supply Stores, J.A. Smith Construction and Excavation in Central Alabama Community College. Jim, let's just go down post-spring. Always have people ask us, and we ask as well, who do we think Auburn will go after in the portal? Again, this is not talking about who's going to leave Auburn. We did talk about Brenton Williams in the first segment, already declaring that he's going to get in the portal, the kid from Opelika. He'll have 4 years of eligibility, only played in 2 games last year as a freshman as an edge rusher. So I'm sure there'll be more that enter the portal. Won't speculate on that right now. But starting at quarterback right now, with 4 quarterbacks in the room, and it seems like Peyton Thorne being the guy that Auburn really won't go out and pursue a quarterback unless just something jumps up and it is an absolute perfect match for Auburn to add another quarterback. But you're right. If one were to leave, if Holden Gurner gets in the portal, or I believe he'd be the only one that would leave, because Hank Brown came out on a podcast last week, said he loves Auburn. He's here. Walker White just got here as a freshman. He's not going anywhere. Peyton Thorne's projected to be your starter. So the only one I would say that would get in the portal would be Holden Gurner. So if he were to leave, then that might put Hugh Freeze back into the mode of looking for another quarterback.
Well, and it's the same thing I already told you about the depth-wise. If we all take our pieces and say Peyton's going to get hurt, now you got to go look in the portal. Because think about this. Hughes already went through this one time before at Liberty. He went through 4 quarterbacks in 1 year.
Wow.
4.
Hope we don't have to do that. Running back right now,
I think you're good.
I mean, not looking to add anybody there. Again, if somebody were to get in the portal, would change things there. But I think Jarquez Hunter and Damari Austin and Jeremiah Cobb is a 1-2-3 punch.
Every one of them, especially, and I don't know why he kept standing out to me out there at practice, but Austin. I mean, he's got a quick first step.
Austin really looks good to me as well.
He's gone.
Yeah, really looks good to me for sure. Wide receiver, again, we just ran down a bunch of guys, and some of these are projected, I think, to get in the portal. Some of the Auburn receivers, with what's coming in and what's already there, some of the younger guys. But Auburn may be tracking a kid from Penn State that just got in the portal, Keandre Lambert-Smith, a big-time player, looking to add him and maybe one more, in addition to, Perry Thompson and Malcolm Simmons, those guys coming in that aren't on campus yet. Tight end, not looking to add anybody there,
think so.
Jim. I mean, again, it's a tight end room. They just added Rico Walker to the mix. So I think 4 or 5 guys in that room right now. So not really looking.
They're all solid.
For the first time ever, Auburn really not looking for a transfer in the offensive line category.
Yeah, I think it would fall under the same category as we talked about quarterback. I think if something popped up on their radar, a solid 4 to 5 star guy that they knew they could go get, then they probably might throw an offer out there. But no, we're not going to look for 3 stars and people because we got some depth now.
Yeah. So huge and not having to feel like you got to go find somebody. But Auburn did get the kid from Mississippi State in the first window, so it kind of solidified what they needed.
Right.
We haven't really taught any defense today, so we'll skip that. And I want to go back to the other coaches on the offensive staff there. Marcus Davis, wide receivers coach, first year, last year as the wide receiver coach, is an outstanding recruiter. One of the lone holdouts from that staff, Jim, of former players. Lost Zach Etheridge, lost Carnell Williams, but Marcus Davis, former Auburn football player on this staff, tremendous recruiter, has done a tremendous job of going out, getting some of the top receivers in the country in this last year's class, along with what Hugh Freeze was able to do to supplement that. So Marcus Davis, a key piece to this offensive staff.
Oh, there's no question. I mean, when you can develop like Hugh loves to do, and he's made it apparent many times that he wants to go into high school and build his program through high school, you got to make those relationships. And that guy's making them. I mean, he's getting them out there.
So tight end Ben Agamawa, spent 4 seasons prior at Liberty with Coach Freeze, and then 7 years at Ole Miss prior to going to Liberty. So really kind of following suit kind of with Coach Freeze and being part of that. Now he's the tight ends coach here at Auburn. Like we just talked about, it's pretty deep room as far as that's concerned. When you look down at tight end, again, it's a position that Coach Freeze uses. Rivaldo Fairweather, Luke Deal, Brandon Frazier, 3 guys, and then you got Rico Walker that you added as well. So you got 4 really solid guys there in the tight end room, Jim, that you can utilize.
Yeah, and to see them on the hoof, as I like to call it, they really look the part. We don't have just some guys. We got out there 4 tight ends. I think we really, truly could line up in that 12 personnel and run it down your throat, or we could throw Fairweather
if you can get a good enough, consistent performance from Peyton Thorne and this wide receiver core to open up the running. I know most of the time it's run to open up the pass, but I think it's opposite of that. I think most teams know that Auburn wants to run the football. They're going to stack it and force Peyton Thorne and this wide receiver core to prove. You got to loosen that defense up. Then you can start running the football a little bit, like you said, in that 12 personnel and maybe a bigger set.
That's one of the biggest things in football right now, college football going, is the metric of big plays.
Yep.
How you make those big plays. Can you throw it to an inside guy and he turns it 50 yards, or do you have to throw it to a Cam Coleman? But you just open the top of that defense.
That's right. And then last, Jay Jake Thornton, offensive lineman, helped Ole Miss to a top 10 offense the last 2 years, led the SEC in 492.5 yards per game, and they were third in the nation in running. It had a lot to do with his offensive line. So, well, Jim, glad to see you, buddy. Always look forward to having you out here. That's going to wrap it up for this edition of the Auburn Blitz. We'll be back with you same time, same place tomorrow. For Jim, I'm Brett saying we've enjoyed it. We'll help you out. See you tomorrow.